All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking Grade 8 History, specifically Lesson 2, Section 2.2, the pattern of economy in the Kandyan Kingdom. Now, you probably already know that setting up a kingdom high up in the central hills of Sri Lanka gave them an absolutely incredible natural defense. But you know, survival isn't just about hiding behind a bunch of mountains. You've got to feed your people, manufacture tools, and of course, build up some serious wealth. So, we're going to look exactly at how they pulled that off.
To make this super easy to remember, we're breaking this economy down into three main pillars: agriculture, trade, and industries.
First up, Pillar 1, agriculture, which focuses on farming in the hills.
So farming in the mountains is a pretty tricky challenge, right? The Kandyans weren't dealing with those wide-open flat plains. Instead, they used wet zone terrace farming. Because the kingdom sat right in the hilly wet zone, they got plenty of rain year-round. This meant they didn't have to build massive tanks and canals to store water like you'd see with standard paddy cultivation down in the flat, low country. Instead, they literally carved steps or terraces straight into the hillsides and just let the abundant natural rainwater do its thing. They totally used the mountainous terrain to their advantage.
Okay, moving right along to Pillar 2, trade, covering both internal and external networks.
Obviously, a kingdom needs way more than just rice to actually thrive. So internally, they had this bustling network moving goods back and forth. Stuff from the coastal regions was constantly being traded up into the mountains, and upcountry goods were sent right back down. And how are they paying for all this? Well, it was a mix. They did use actual money, but a traditional barter system was super common too. It's kind of like trading your lunchbox snacks with a friend, but on a massive, kingdom-wide scale, swapping coastal fish for upcountry bananas.
But moving all that merchandise between the low country and the upcountry wasn't just a free-for-all. Goods had to pass through places called gravelts. Think of gravelts like strict border toll booths or heavy security checkpoints. Since European powers like the Dutch controlled the coastal areas, these gravelts were set up right on the boundaries. Every single piece of merchandise going in and out of the Kandyan Kingdom had to go through these heavily guarded posts. It was basically how the kingdom kept a super close eye on their supply chain.
Which brings up a massive question. We know everyday locals were trading back and forth internally, but when it came to dealing with foreign countries, those huge shipments of incredibly valuable goods, who do you think actually controlled the wealth of the kingdom?
Yep, it was the king. He maintained a strict VIP-only monopoly over all external trade. Your everyday farmer definitely wasn't making deals with foreign merchants. The king alone held the ultimate key to the kingdom's major wealth, completely controlling trade relationships through the coastal areas with the Europeans, as well as direct trade with India.
So what exactly was the king trading to build up all that wealth? For exports, he was shipping out highly sought-after spices like cinnamon, pepper, cardamom, cloves, and nutmeg, plus luxury items like ivory, elephants, gems, pearls, areca nut, betel, and beeswax. And for imports, he brought in foreign luxuries like magnificent horses, fancy ceramic ware, and perfumes, along with essentials like textiles, clayware, and dried fish. This mountain kingdom was deeply plugged into the global market.
To make that happen, a massive amount of local labor was required. Picture workers sitting together in a courtyard, carefully bundling up huge stacks of valuable cinnamon quills. This wasn't just some casual weekend job. Preparing these spices was a major, highly organized operation needed to fuel the king's massive trade monopoly. Every single bundle of cinnamon represented the actual wealth and power of the Kandyan state.
Finally, let's jump into Pillar 3, craft guilds and industries.
So we've got food and we've got foreign trade. But what about everyday items? Farming tools, cooking pots, weapons? Well, society was highly organized into caste-based industries. This meant your profession was tied directly to your family lineage. The technology and secrets for these crafts were closely guarded and passed down from generation to generation. They actually set up entirely separate villages that functioned exactly like specialized manufacturing towns. Leaders were appointed to manage each group, ensuring top-tier quality as they completely mastered working with clay, copper, brass, and iron. They even used lacquer to add these beautiful, bright colors to their finished products.
To put that into perspective, if you needed sturdy iron tools for your terrace farming, you knew exactly where to go: the Kote Mali area, which was the kingdom's famous iron hub. But let's say you wanted some beautiful woven reed mats or baskets, then Dambara was absolutely the place to be. This incredibly organized village-by-village system meant the Kandyan kingdom didn't really have to rely on anyone else. They could make the whole shebang right at home.
So as you review this explainer and study for your exams, I want you to really think about this final question.
How did mastering these three exact pillars, agriculture, trade, and industry, allow the Kandyan kingdom to survive as an independent state in the mountains for so long? They used their hills to farm with natural rainwater, their king tightly controlled global trade, and their organized craft villages literally made everything else they needed. When you combine those three things, you don't just get a kingdom, you get an economic fortress. Keep that in mind and keep exploring.